Welcome back to the Think and Speak podcast. Today, we're exploring a fun and practical topic: how to talk about cafes in English. Mr. Miller, why do you think this topic is so useful for learners?
Well, Emma, cafes are part of daily life in many countries. Whether you're ordering a coffee, meeting friends, or discussing your favorite cafe experience, knowing the right vocabulary, expressions, and grammar makes your English sound natural and confident.
That's true. Many learners can speak about abstract topics, but they hesitate when talking about something as simple as ordering coffee or describing a cafe experience.
Exactly. Today, we'll teach you how to describe cafes, order drinks, talk about ambience, and even share your opinions using correct grammar, useful adjectives, and modern phrases.
If you want to sound fluent and impress people in real-life situations, at cafes, restaurants, or casual meetings, this episode is for you.
Stay with us until the end. We'll show you practical sentence patterns, common expressions, and even advanced grammar to make your speech smooth and engaging.
Like this video, comment about your favorite cafe experience, and subscribe for more advanced English lessons.
Let's begin.
Mr. Miller, let's start with the basics. Many learners want to know how to talk about ordering in a cafe. Simple phrases like "I want a coffee" or "give me a tea" are grammatically correct, but they often sound blunt or unnatural. Could you explain how learners can use polite and modern expressions for ordering drinks or food, including phrases like "could I have," "I would like," or "may I get?" Also, how can learners describe specific preferences, such as size, temperature, or additional ingredients? Could you provide detailed grammar explanations, sentence structures, and practical examples for modern cafe situations, so learners can sound polite and fluent while ordering?
Excellent question, Emma. Ordering politely in a cafe is about combining grammar, vocabulary, and social etiquette. Using short phrases like "I want" or "give me" is understandable but can sound abrupt in modern English. Polite expressions elevate fluency and friendliness. The most common structures are: "Could I have plus noun plus, please?" "Could I have a cappuccino, please?" "Could I have a slice of cheesecake, please?" "I would like plus noun, plus modifiers." "I would like a large iced latte with almond milk." "I would like a croissant with chocolate filling, please." "May I get plus noun?" "May I get a flat white to take away?" "May I get a cappuccino with an extra shot?" Notice the grammar. Could, would, and may are modal verbs, used to show politeness or possibility. The noun phrase includes the main item plus optional descriptors: size, temperature, ingredients. Adjectives usually precede nouns: large iced latte, decaf Americano, freshly baked muffin. Learners can also use requests for modifications. "Could I have my coffee without sugar?" "I would like a latte, but with skim milk instead of whole milk." To add extra politeness, include softening phrases. "Would it be possible to?" "If it's not too much trouble, could I?" Example conversation. Customer: "Hi, could I have a medium cappuccino with oat milk, please?" Barista: "Of course. Would you like it hot or iced?" Customer: "Hot, please. And could I also get a blueberry muffin?" Using this structure allows learners to sound polite and professional, give detailed information about preferences, use natural English grammar and sentence patterns. Learners should also practice intonation, emphasizing "please" and rising tone in questions, which make speech friendly and conversational. In short, using modal verbs with noun phrases, adjectives, and polite endings like "please" ensures fluency and appropriateness in cafe situations. Adding specifics, size, temperature, ingredients, makes your English sound modern and natural.
Mr. Miller, besides ordering, many learners want to describe the cafe environment to friends or in conversations. For example, talking about ambience, decor, or atmosphere often feels challenging. Could you explain how learners can use adjectives, adverbs, and prepositional phrases to describe cafes vividly? How can learners express opinions politely, using phrases like "I find this cafe cozy," or "it seems very lively today"? Could you also explain grammar structures like comparative and superlative adjectives for comparisons, such as This cafe is more spacious than the one downtown. Or, it's the best coffee in town. Step by step, could you provide modern examples and grammar explanations so learners can confidently describe cafés in real-life conversations or social media posts?
Great question, Emma. Describing cafés requires combining vocabulary, adjectives, adverbs, and grammar structures to communicate your impressions clearly. First, let's look at basic adjectives to describe cafés. Cozy, spacious, lively, quiet, modern, rustic, trendy, charming. These can be intensified with adverbs. Very cozy, extremely lively, quite spacious. For example, I find this cafe very cozy and relaxing. It seems quite lively today, with many people chatting. Next, for comparisons, learners use comparative adjectives for two things and superlative adjectives for three or more. Comparative, this cafe is more spacious than the one downtown. Superlative, it's the best cafe I've visited this month. Grammar points. Comparatives, adjective plus or more plus adjective, use than to compare. Superlatives, the plus adjective plus, est or the most plus adjective, can use I have visited / I know for context. Learners can also describe specific aspects using prepositional phrases. The cafe is full of natural light. There are comfortable chairs near the window. The walls are decorated with modern art. To express opinions politely, phrases like these are useful. I find the coffee quite strong but enjoyable. It seems a bit noisy, but the atmosphere is fun. In my opinion, this is a charming place to meet friends. Example paragraph for social media or conversation. Yesterday, I visited a small cafe downtown. I found it very cozy, with comfortable seating and warm lighting. The coffee was excellent, and the pastries were freshly baked. Compared to the cafe near my office, this one is more spacious and much quieter. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who enjoys a calm place to work or relax. Notice grammar patterns. Present simple for general description, the coffee is excellent. Comparatives and superlatives, more spacious, much quieter. Adverbs to modify adjectives, very cozy, extremely quiet. Polite opinion phrases, I find, it seems, in my opinion. Combining these grammar structures with descriptive vocabulary helps learners speak fluently, confidently, and naturally about cafe experiences.
Mr. Miller, finally, many learners want to discuss personal experiences and preferences about cafes, such as favorite drinks, memorable visits, or comparing coffee shops. How can learners narrate cafe experiences using past tenses, sequencing words, and expressions of opinion? Could you explain how to use past simple, past continuous, and present perfect in this context? Also, how can learners combine these tenses with phrases like, I really enjoyed, it reminded me of, or I have never tried, to sound engaging and natural? Step by step, could you provide grammar explanations and modern examples so learners can confidently share cafe stories with friends or on social media?
Excellent question, Emma. Sharing personal experiences about cafes combines past tenses, sequencing words, and opinion expressions to make storytelling engaging. First, the past simple is used for completed actions at specific times. I visited a new cafe last weekend. I ordered a caramel latte and a croissant. The past continuous describes actions in progress at a certain time. While I was waiting for my coffee, I watched people chatting at nearby tables. Using both together creates a natural narrative. I was reading a book when my friend arrived. We were talking about work while enjoying our drinks. The present perfect connects past experiences to the present. I have visited several cafes in the city, but this one is my favorite. I have never tried a matcha latte before, and it was delicious. Sequencing words help organize stories. First, then, after that, later, finally. Example narrative. Last Saturday, I visited a cozy cafe downtown. First, I ordered a cappuccino and a chocolate muffin. While I was waiting, I looked around and noticed the modern decor. Then, my friend arrived, and we chatted for over an hour. After that, we walked to a nearby park. I really enjoyed the relaxed atmosphere, and it reminded me of a cafe I visited in Italy. I have never had such a flavorful cappuccino before, so it was a memorable experience. Grammar points to note. Past simple for events, visited, ordered, walked. Past continuous for background actions, was waiting, was looking. Present perfect for experiences, I have never had. Sequencing words to guide listeners. Opinion phrases, I really enjoyed, it reminded me of. Other modern expressions. The cafe had a nice vibe. The staff were very friendly. It's the perfect place to work or meet friends. By combining these tenses, sequencing words, and opinion expressions, learners can narrate cafe experiences naturally, fluently, and engagingly.
Mr. Miller, beyond ordering and describing cafes, many learners want to discuss menu items and beverages confidently. They often struggle to explain what they like or dislike about drinks, desserts, or snacks, and they rely on simple words like good or bad. How can learners use more expressive adjectives, food vocabulary, and opinion structures to talk about cafe items naturally? Could you explain how to use phrases like I prefer, I'm a fan of, it tastes, or it reminds me of? Additionally, how can learners incorporate comparatives and superlatives to make their opinion stronger, such as, this latte is stronger than the one I had yesterday, or, this is the best pastry I've ever tried? Please give modern real-life examples and grammar explanations for learners to confidently discuss cafe menus.
That's a fantastic question, Emma. Talking about cafe items allows learners to combine vocabulary, grammar, and personal expression, making English sound fluent and natural. Let's start with expressive adjectives for beverages and desserts. Coffee, strong, mild, bitter, aromatic, creamy, rich. Tea, herbal, fragrant, soothing, robust. Pastries and snacks, flaky, sweet, buttery, crunchy, decadent. Next, opinion structures. I prefer plus noun / verb ing. I prefer cappuccino over espresso. I prefer drinking tea in the afternoon. I'm a fan of plus noun / verb ing. I'm a fan of caramel lattes. I'm a fan of trying new desserts. It tastes plus adjective. This coffee tastes very smooth. The chocolate muffin tastes rich and indulgent. It reminds me of plus noun / experience. This matcha latte reminds me of my trip to Japan. The pastries remind me of my grandmother's baking. Now, for comparatives and superlatives. Comparative, this latte is stronger than the one I had yesterday. Superlative, this is the best croissant I've ever eaten. Grammar tips. Comparatives, adjective plus or more plus adjective, followed by than. Superlatives, the plus adjective plus est or the most plus adjective. Example conversation. Customer, I'm a fan of herbal teas. Could I try the chamomile? Barista, of course. It's very soothing and fragrant. Customer, great. It tastes even better than the one I had last week. This is the best tea I've tried this month. Learners can also combine phrases for more fluency. I prefer dark chocolate pastries because they taste rich and less sweet. I'm a fan of flat whites. They remind me of my favorite cafe in London. Notice how this combines expressive adjectives, personal opinions, comparisons, references to experiences. To sound natural, learners should practice intonation when expressing enjoyment or preference. For example, this latte is amazing. Stress on adjective. I really enjoy this pastry. It's flaky and buttery. In short, combining expressive adjectives, opinion structures, and comparative / superlative forms allows learners to speak confidently about cafe items, making conversations engaging, modern, and fluent.
Mr. Miller, in addition to talking about cafes and menu items, learners often want to describe interactions with staff, service experiences, and cafe etiquette. Many struggle to use polite expressions and modern phrases when commenting on service quality, asking questions, or giving feedback. How can learners talk about cafe service naturally, using polite language, modal verbs, and descriptive phrases? Could you explain how to use phrases like, the staff were very, I appreciated, could you, would you mind, or they made me feel Also, how can learners combine past tenses, adjectives, and adverbs to describe experiences they had at a cafe? Please give detailed grammar explanations, sentence patterns, and modern examples so learners can speak confidently about cafe interactions.
That's a very practical question, Emma. Describing cafe interactions and service experiences combines polite language, grammar, and descriptive vocabulary, which is essential for natural English. Let's start with polite expressions using modal verbs. Could you plus base verb. Could you bring the menu, please? Could you recommend a dessert? Would you mind plus verb ing. Would you mind changing my coffee to decaf? Would you mind bringing a glass of water? I appreciated plus noun / verb ing. I appreciated the quick service. I appreciated how friendly the staff were. They made me feel plus adjective. The staff made me feel welcome. The cozy ambience made me feel relaxed. Next, learners can use past tenses to describe experiences. Past simple, the barista served my coffee promptly. Past continuous, while I was waiting, the manager greeted new customers. Present perfect for connection to now, I have visited this cafe several times, and the service is always excellent. Adjectives and adverbs help learners add richness. The staff were extremely polite and attentive. The service was surprisingly fast. I found the atmosphere incredibly relaxing. Example story. Last week, I visited a new cafe downtown. The staff were very friendly, and they made me feel welcome immediately. While I was waiting for my latte, I appreciated the cozy atmosphere and the background music. I asked the barista for a recommendation, and she suggested a caramel macchiato, which was absolutely delicious. Overall, the service was excellent, and I will definitely visit again. Notice the grammar patterns. Past simple for completed actions, visited, suggested, was. Past continuous for background, was waiting. Adjectives with intensifiers, extremely friendly, absolutely delicious. Polite expressions, I asked, I appreciated, made me feel. Learners can also practice review-style sentences for social media or discussions. The staff were very attentive, and the cafe has a lovely atmosphere. I really appreciated how quickly they served my order. In summary, combining polite modal verbs, descriptive adjectives / adverbs, and past tenses allows learners to describe cafe service naturally and confidently, creating fluent and modern English suitable for real-life situations.
Mr. Miller, another common topic learners struggle with is talking about cafe experiences with friends or socializing at cafes. Many students know how to order and describe drinks, but they hesitate when describing conversations, sharing experiences, or inviting someone. How can learners talk about cafe social situations confidently in English? Could you explain how to use phrases like shall we, do you want to, let's, or we could, to make invitations or suggestions? Additionally, how can learners describe past cafe meetups using past tenses, sequencing words, and expressions of opinion like, we had a great time, it was really fun, or I really enjoyed? Please give detailed grammar explanations, sentence structures, and modern examples to make social conversations natural and fluent.
That's an excellent and very practical topic, Emma. Social interactions at cafes are a big part of daily life, so learners must know how to invite, suggest, and describe social experiences naturally. First, let's talk about inviting or suggesting activities using polite, modern phrases. Shall we plus base verb, for polite suggestions. Shall we grab a coffee this afternoon? Shall we try the new cafe near the station? Do you want a plus base verb, informal suggestion? Do you want to meet at the cafe tomorrow? Do you want to try their pastries? Let's plus base verb, friendly suggestion for group action. Let's order some lattes and sit outside. Let's try that new matcha cake. We could plus base verb, flexible suggestion. We could meet after work for coffee. We could check out the cafe's weekend specials. Next, learners can describe past cafe experiences using past tenses. Past simple for completed actions. We met at a small cafe downtown. I ordered a cappuccino and a chocolate muffin. Past continuous for background actions. While we were chatting, the barista brought our drinks. Sequencing words makes storytelling clear. First, we ordered our drinks. Then, we found a cozy corner. After that, we talked about work and travel. Finally, we left and explored the nearby park. Opinion phrases to share feelings. We had a great time. It was really fun and relaxing. I really enjoyed the atmosphere. Combining grammar and vocabulary. Shall we meet at that new cafe tomorrow? I've heard it's very cozy. Last week, I visited with my friend. We ordered iced lattes and tried the chocolate muffins. While we were chatting, the staff were extremely friendly. We had a great time, and I really enjoyed the relaxed atmosphere. It reminded me of a cafe I visited in Italy. I would definitely go back. Notice: polite suggestions for invitations. Past tenses for storytelling. Sequencing words for clarity. Opinion phrases for personal expression. Using these strategies, learners can make social conversations in cafes natural, engaging, and fluent, creating modern English that works in real-life situations.
Mr. Miller, finally, many learners want to talk about comparing cafes, drinks, or food with friends or on social media. They often struggle to use comparatives and superlatives correctly, especially when combining them with opinions. How can learners express comparisons clearly, such as, "This cafe is nicer than the one downtown," or "This is the best latte I've ever had"? Could you explain how to use comparatives, superlatives, and expressions like "I prefer," "I like it more because," or "It's better than"? Additionally, how can learners combine these grammar structures with adjectives and adverbs to make their comparisons modern and fluent, including references to past experiences or current visits? Please give step-by-step grammar explanations and real-life examples.
That's a perfect final topic, Emma, because comparisons are very common in cafe conversations and social media posts. Using comparatives, superlatives, and opinion phrases helps learners sound confident, expressive, and fluent. Let's start with comparatives for comparing two things. Structure: adjective plus, plus than, short adjectives. Structure: more plus adjective plus than, long adjectives. Examples: this cafe is cozier than the one downtown. The latte here is more flavorful than at the other cafe. Use adverbs for emphasis. The service here is much faster than yesterday. The pastries taste even better than last week. Next, superlatives are used to compare three or more things. Structure: the plus adjective plus, est, short adjectives. Structure: the most plus adjective, long adjectives. Examples: this is the best cappuccino I've ever had. It's the most relaxing cafe in the city. Opinion phrases can combine with comparatives and superlatives. I prefer plus noun / verb ing. I prefer this cafe because it's quieter. I prefer drinking cappuccinos in the morning. I like it more because plus reason. I like this latte more because it's creamier. It's better than plus noun / verb ing. It's better than the coffee I had yesterday. Let's look at a full example. Yesterday, I visited two cafes downtown. The first one was cozy, but the second one was even cozier and had more comfortable seating. The cappuccino at the second cafe tasted richer and smoother, so I liked it more. In my opinion, it's the best cafe for studying or relaxing. Compared to the cafe near my office, this one is quieter and has a friendlier atmosphere. Grammar points to remember. Comparatives: compare two items, use than. Superlatives: highlight the top quality among three or more. Adjectives and adverbs: describe the quality and emphasize differences. Opinion phrases: connect comparisons to personal feelings. By combining comparatives, superlatives, adjectives, adverbs, and opinion phrases, learners can confidently compare cafes, drinks, and experiences, making their English modern, expressive, and suitable for both conversation and social media.